Hello, everyone. My name is David, and I want to tell you a story that happened with my friend. Let's start the story. They say home is where your heart is. But what happens when your home rips your heart out and hands it to someone else? I'm Jake, and this is how my family erased me and how I clawed my way back. I was 17, hauling a beat-up backpack up the porch steps of a house I thought was mine. I'd been gone a week on a school trip I fought tooth and nail for. Every penny scraped from late-night gas station shifts, selling custom skateboard designs online, even mowing lawns for neighbors who haggled over every dollar. That trip was my rebellion, proof I could carve out something for myself. But the bus ride home was hell. My head spun like a busted compass. My legs ached like they'd been crushed under concrete, and all I craved was my bed. My bed, worn out, sagging. But mine, with that old flannel blanket that smelled like cedar in childhood. I'd even picked up gifts. A leather-bound journal for Mom, a cheap harmonica for Dad and for my brother Liam, a set of rare guitar picks I'd bartered for at a flea market. I pictured him grinning, maybe even saying, "Nice one, Jake," without his usual eye roll. Foolish, right? How you hold on to those fleeting hopes like they'll glue your family back together. The house was quiet when I walked in, smelling like varnish and ego. "Oh, good to see you." No arms pulling me in. Just Mom's voice, sharp as a switchblade. "You're back." I muttered about needing a shower, my body screaming for collapse, but she cut me off. "Your room. Liam's using it now for his music." My stomach dropped like I'd stepped off a cliff. I dragged myself upstairs, each step a hammer to my chest, and saw it. My door flung open, gutted. My band posters, my comic stash, my bed, all gone. Replaced by Liam's amps, his guitar stands. A microphone gleaming like it owned the place. "Don't scuff the floor," Liam barked, tuning a string without looking up. "It's polished." I stood there, my backpack slipping, the air thick with betrayal. Downstairs, Dad was glued to his phone, barely glancing up. "Don't start, Jake. Liam's got a gig coming up." "You're almost 18. Deal with it." Deal with it. Like I hadn't been dealing my whole life. Liam was the star. His every chord a masterpiece. Me, I was the ghost. The kid who learned to fix his own bike at 10. Because Dad was too busy driving. Liam to band practice. I won a science fair once. Built a model rocket that actually flew. Mom said, "That's cool, Jake." Then went back to filming Liam's garage band. I stopped sharing my victories. I stopped expecting them to notice. But this wasn't just neglect. It was erasure. I dropped my keys on the counter, the ones I'd carried since middle school, and walked out. Mom shouted, "Don't be a drama queen." But it wasn't theatrics. It was a door slamming shut in my soul. I crashed at my friend Marcus's place. His dad's awkward glances stinging worse than my family's silence. No calls, no texts, not even a "you alive?" I was a shadow in someone else's house. Then I went to see Grandpa Joe, the only one who ever saw me. His retirement home smelled like mothballs and defiance. His room was a shrine of old vinyls and stubborn hope. I spilled it all. The room, the silence, the guitar picks I'd never give Liam. Grandpa Joe didn't flinch. He just said, "You're out." That's power. Then he slid an envelope across his table, heavy with intent. "Not cash," he said, "but a spark for something real." Inside were bank papers, legal forms, a scrolled note in his shaky hand. "I can't give you a house, but I can give you a fight." He'd been saving for me quietly while the world turned its back. I rented a shoebox apartment, slept on a thrift store sleeping bag, and felt freer than ever. Grandpa Joe and I shared greasy burgers, swapped stories about his days as a boxer, laughed at old westerns on his tiny TV. For the first time, I felt anchored. Until the knock came. 3 hard thuds like a judge's gavel. Mom and Dad stood there, her lipstick too sharp, his fists too clenched. "We know what you pulled," Dad growled, waving a legal notice like a blade. "You and your grandfather stole his savings." My laugh cracked like glass. "He gave it to me. He planned it." Mom's eyes narrowed. "We're suing you, Jake. Elder fraud." The ground shook. They weren't just stealing my space. They were trying to bury my future. Their lawsuit was a house of cards. Grandpa Joe stormed into his doctor's office, aced every mental exam, and told the judge, "I've been outsmarting punks like them since before they were born." Their case crumbled, sloppy, desperate. A last grab for control. I won, but it tasted like dust. I'd lost them long before they lost me. Grandpa Joe's envelope gave me a start. $4,000, enough for a lease, a used mattress, a shot at something solid. I'm still building, still learning what home means when it's not walls. But a fire you keep burning inside. I thought family was blood, a promise. But sometimes family's the cage you have to break. If you're out there feeling like you don't exist, hear this: you're not invisible. You're not the flaw. Sometimes the only way to find home is to burn the old one down. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe for more tales like this. See you next time, friends.